Before the hate, there was a man in love. Before the war, a wounded boy. This is the origin of Billy Butcher, the man who declared war on superheroes. A story of loss, brutality, and an insatiable thirst for vengeance. Billy Butcher was born in the grey heart of London, where the cold came not just from the weather, but from the home he lived in. His father was a monster in human form, alcoholic, aggressive, a tyrant who took out his frustrations on his wife's body and his children's fear. Billy and his brother Lenny learned to survive without trusting anyone. Every night was an emotional game of Russian roulette. But Billy wasn't weak. When he saw his mother bloodied for the umpteenth time, something snapped inside him. He fought back with unexpected violence, and for the first time, the monster felt fear. That moment changed everything. Billy learned that only strength earns respect. He enlisted in the British Army to escape and found something familiar on the battlefield: chaos, pain, brutality. But there, he was useful. He was good at killing. War became his first true home. He just didn't know that the real hell, and the ones wearing capes, were yet to come. Back in civilization, Billy met Becky Saunders, a sweet, intelligent woman full of life. She was his opposite, and because of that, the perfect balance. For the first time, he believed he could leave the violence behind. Becky made him laugh, made him think, made him dream. They got married and lived like any normal couple: lazy afternoons, silly arguments, modest dreams. But the world of the boys doesn't allow prolonged happiness. One day, Becky disappeared for hours. When she returned, she was in shock. The hospital revealed a cruel crime: rape, brutality, trauma. No one was arrested. No official explanation. Only whispers of a superhero. Vought cleaned up the mess quietly. Becky withered, and Butcher saw her light fade. That's when he buried his heart. In its place, something darker grew: pure hate. It was then that the real Billy Butcher was born, no longer a man, but a ticking time bomb with his sights set on the soups. With no family and no direction, Butcher was recruited by Mallory, a CIA agent with a plan: contain the superheroes before they became untouchable gods. Billy agreed, but with a personal goal: eliminate them all. One by one. He studied Compound V, the formula that created soups, and began mapping weaknesses, patterns, vulnerabilities. He knew fighting fair was suicide. So he'd play dirty. He assembled his team: Huey, the heart, Mother's Milk, the strategist, Frenchie, the wild card, and the female, a living weapon. But none of them knew Butcher's true plan. To him, they were all tools, even the allies. Every step was part of a symphony of destruction, and the maestro was led by Becky's memory. He no longer saw himself as a savior or a vigilante. He was something else, something necessary. And the more he studied the soups, the more he saw them as a virus that had to be wiped out. The Butcher was loose, and there was no turning back. The first soup to fall was nearly irrelevant: a second-rate hero from a B-list team, full of ego and devoid of responsibility. But to Billy, he was the beginning. He observed, followed, studied, and killed. Cold. Precise. Without hesitation. The murder was clean. Nothing flashy. A silent warning that gods were being hunted. The media buried it. Vought played dumb. But fear began to spread. Billy liked the feeling of power. For the first time since Becky, he felt in control. But that control was an illusion. Huey started asking questions. Mother's Milk noticed the growing rage. The team felt the weight of his leadership. Butcher smiled on the outside, but inside, the fury only grew. He no longer saw the difference between allies and obstacles. And the scariest part? No one was safe. Not the soups, not the humans. Billy's war wasn't against a group. It was against an idea, and he was ready to destroy it, even if it cost him everything. Billy Butcher was no longer just a man. He was a symbol. A ghost haunting Vaught's corridors. A threat that made Soup sleep in fear. But his crusade wasn't just about revenge. It was faith. He believed, with every fiber of his being, that Soups were the downfall of humanity. And like every fanatic, he was willing to do anything. When he discovered that Becky had been pregnant with the Soup's child, and that the fetus exploded inside her, killing her, Billy broke completely. Nothing was left but rage. Not even his love for the team could hold him back anymore. Every action was more extreme. Every plan, more reckless. When questioned, he smiled and lied. His charm masked his insanity. And by the time his allies realized it, it was too late. Butcher had become the very monster he had sworn to destroy. But in the mirror, all he saw was a man betrayed by the world, and who decided to pay it back in kind. And that's another page in the Heroic Chronicles. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like and subscribe for more untold tales from the world of comics. There's always another hero, another villain, and another turning point waiting in the shadows. See you in the next chapter.